No sound?
Let's see if that's better. See if there's a bit of sound there now. Hopefully we've got a bit of sound now. Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us talking now?
Can you hear?
But no, we've it's so good to be joining you all this morning.
Yeah.
We're joining from home today. I'm going to be off camera in a few minutes. I'll be swapping out with Pastor Peter. Pastor Peter will be here. There we are. Camera's on the other side today. I injured my thumb at basketball on Monday night. Praise God, we've already started to see some miracles coming through. I went and got it tested. I got it, ultrasounds, x-rays, got all that done. No fractures, praise God. But in what the doctor has said thus far is that there's 2 tendons torn. So they're expecting sort of, in their words, probably like a 6 to 8 week recovery is what is expected for this. 6 to 8 week plus before I can be doing, stuff with that hand fully again. But we don't believe that's what God is. That's not God's report. That's the doctor's report, and God's report trumps the doctor's report. And praise God, even last night, 12 hours after we got the results, we were just at home and we were having a time of prayer as a family and a time of praise as a family, which we try and do every night if we can. And we weren't even necessarily praying for my thumb. We were just praying for a bunch of different situations, both out in our family and the church, and just praying generally. And at the end of it, went upstairs and I was getting ready for bed and I was washing my hands. So I had to take the brace off my thumb. And praise God, there was a bunch of movement back in the thumb that I hadn't seen up until that moment. And it was all movement that because of the tears, I should have been like the last things to come back. So praise God for that. We're already seeing miracles in that way. Still a lot of movement I'm praying to see return. Still a lot of motion I'm praying to see return. And still probably the main thing is praying for the pain to release. But we've already seen a miracle begin, and I believe we're going to see that all the way through. But because of that, for my thumb's sake, I realized, particularly without the table at the moment, it's very hard to hold a book. It's very hard to do anything. It's very hard to hold a toothbrush, I discovered over the last 4 days. So holding a Bible is going to be a bit of a challenge while on screen, while trying to do the screens, while trying to do the live stream and everything like that. So I'm going to sub out. I'm going to be joining live Breakthrough Academy, like all of you. I'm going to be joining via the live stream and sitting where I can, use my phone to read it and, scramble with one arm to open the Bible. But I'm going to start out with Pastor Peter. Bless you all. Let us know if there's any other audio issues, anything like that. We can come in and we can try and fix those. Pastor Peter, I'll start out with you.
Yeah.
We're working with a smaller space today, but it's okay.
If you want to work out how uncoordinated you are, try and brush your teeth with the other hand. You realise this hand has been here my whole life, has been learning nothing.
Yes.
It's like, let's do it. It hasn't been sitting there paying attention. It doesn't know what to do.
This is where left-handers. I don't know what's is Jay left or right? Handed.
Yeah, I think it's left. Do you brush your teeth with
Well, I'm left-handed, but I found that a lot of this is off topic, but I found that a lot of left-handers are like ambidextrous in different things. Like I'm left-handed, right-footed, but
yeah.
I wouldn't have had a problem with it, is what I'm saying. That's where I was getting. So
I want to say that
no.
There is a benefit of being here is we've been given
I was thinking
hot drinks to do this.
Get a hot drink today.
So welcome everybody. A little bit different environment here because we're running this through the study, but we believe it'll work out really well because we're into Smyrna. Smug Smyrna if we can get there, because we are working through the 7 books of Revelation, the seven churches in the book of Revelation, and we've done the deep dive into the whole of the book of Revelation.
Yeah. So
that then when we come to these 7 churches, we can appreciate why the book of Revelation was written for them.
Yeah.
So they get a picture of that. They get a picture of heaven. They get a picture of what is the great conflict. They get a picture of how it all ends up. They see the start. They see the end. They say, okay. And then, but in the midst of all that, it's not just Revelation they've got a revelation of. It's Jesus himself, because you see him in his glory and his greatness and his wonder, and he's the beginning and the end. He sort of encompasses it all. He's above and beyond it all. And so these 7 churches now have a message to them. And so in order to understand that better, we've been looking at each of the actual cities around them. And you've got Ephesus, which we start with the first letter. And I'm going to be, listen, we're going to be really a bit techie here. I'm going to actually switch to my iPad here. So who knows what we'll get. So let's, it was IMAP, wasn't it?
Mm.
Oh boy, this is where I need. I have the importance of someone like Jay doing.
Doing the tech.
Yeah, doing the. So let's see if we get a map of the 7 churches of Revelation. Okay, this is a pretty good map here, so you can zoom in a little bit
Oh, wow.
here. So, all right, so, and look, Josh, if we really want to go really cool, there we are in the
We're
corner.
still there.
We're still there. We're still here, and we can. I can adjust this. That's all right. So you can see the 7 churches: Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira. Look at the yellow pins are where they are. Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, and so they sort of do it in a little circle around here. And so and Patmos, which is down
The
low,
island.
down there. You can see down there.
Yeah.
So John's on the Isle of Patmos. He is from Ephesus. That's his main area. And we talked a lot about how Ephesus has such an important role in the New Testament and things that are happening there. So I call Ephesus the example city. Okay, example. It's sort of it's to Ephesus, but it's with an eye on what the overall situation is and what they're facing. So we look at Ephesus, we studied, went into a lot more depth with that, because then that enables us to sort of see fairly quickly what, a lot of the stuff for Smyrna and then Pergamon and Thyatira, there's overlap, but then we can look at the individual things for each of those cities.
You really get, particularly with the first love with Ephesus, you really get that sense of the core value of what it means to be, what Jesus is looking for, what is a follower of Jesus, and and having that first love, and not letting something that you put down or it escapes or trickles away.
Yeah, it's like if you get Ephesus right, then everything else sort of comes in into play. And Ephesus had the core things of false teachers. Yeah. You're holding fast, but you've left your first love. Yeah. And it's but in the context of, hey, you are a lampstand. Yeah. This is your role and responsibility here. And so we, you can see Ephesus there on the coast. Now you notice the first 3 cities, even though the pins there, sometimes you don't trust everything you see in a map. Josh, you probably believe that. Pergamum actually was a coastal city as well. Smyrna, coastal city, and Ephesus, a coastal city. Ephesus has since had the coast move further away from it because of silt filling up the bay. But the ancient city of Ephesus was right on the coast there. And shout out, we've got a few people joining us.
Good morning to Lee, to Katie, to Judith, to Brooke, to Pastor Christine, to Joe. And Sheba, some of our regulars, great to have you here.
And anyone else watching and joining?
We can't always see everybody's name, but if you are watching and we don't know, well, welcome to you.
So these 3 cities, they're these 3 have a lot of overlap, and we talked about how Ephesus and Pergamum had this little rivalry going, all right? And so we've got Ephesus, the example city, and Smyrna is the smug city. It's proud Pergamum, Ephesus the example, and smug Smyrna sitting in the middle, all right? And because these 2, we had that, because you've got it written in there, the
Neocorate city.
Neocorate city, which meant they were official title of looking after a particular temple, and then Pergamon said, well, we were the original, and then they had up back and forth.
And they were back.
So you go back a few weeks to get that. So and in the middle is little Smyrna sitting there nice and smug. Now, when we say little, it's not little. These cities are all probably 100,000 plus.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Because they're on the coast, they were significant.
A bit more important for trade and things.
Yeah. So and
through roads, through cities or whatever.
Yeah, and to access through to Egypt, not Egypt, sorry, to Greece and to the other. This is all modern Turkey, by the way. If you're looking around, this is what we call Turkey. In the Bible times, it was called Asia Minor. Nothing to do with Asia as we know it, just to confuse us. This is now modern Turkey, and these cities all have modern names.
And there's no Asia Major.
Yeah, never thought about that. All right, yeah, I never thought it. Where's Asia Major? Josh, you're asking the questions that we should all be thinking.
That's going to keep me up at night.
So Smyrna is sitting here in the middle, about over 100,000 people, and significant temples and idolatry. Pergamon was like a capital of this region. Ephesus was acting like a capital. Smyrna was a major city, and they Smyrna,
Melbourne and Sydney.
Yeah, and then Canberra in the middle. But Canberra's sort of different. It's like three major cities.
Yeah.
They're all vying for the place of the most important. And Smyrna was very wealthy. Smyrna. Now, if you have you look here, Smyrna is right on the coast, as we said. But then there would be a major road that went from here. There was a road that would have connected all of them around, because there's a lot of other towns and cities obviously around.
Yeah.
But there's also a road that went from Smyrna all the way through to Persia, and that was a road established by the Persians for trade to come all the way through. And then when the Romans took over this region, they developed that road even further. They paved it. They made it much more, even more usable was. But that road, because it finished in Smyrna, now there would have been an offshoot off to Pergamon, obviously down from Smyrna down to Ephesus, about 35 miles, about 50 kilometers. They're sort of close, and you can see that's not much further away there. But there was a major road that went from Persia, and it finished in Smyrna. So trade, it was all the trade that came from Persia came through and ended up in Smyrna. Then it would be on the ships and out for the rest of the world.
Right.
And all the goods from the rest of the world would come. That's going to go all the way through to Persia, but they would start at Smyrna. So you can imagine the marketplace at Smyrna was a happening place. It was very, very wealthy. And in fact, what a lot of people would do is they would travel to Smyrna, they would go to the market, they would buy stuff in bulk, and then they would travel back to the other cities, and then they would sell it at a reasonable profit. So you could buy all your wholesale goods, if you like. It was like going, today it'd be like going to the factories of China, going through, buying all the product, and then you take it back to your hometown and you sell it. You double the price, triple the price because of the value of what you're getting. So Smyrna was a very wealthy place because of all the wealth that was traveling through. Ephesus had a great market. Pergamon had a great market. So these places were also quite wealthy. But Smyrna probably took the cake because of just that connection they had with the transport. About 600 years before this, 700 years, so 600 BC, the time of the writing of this is around 100 AD. So Jesus born around 0, should be 0, but when they do the sums, they work out they got maybe 2 or 3 years off. But it doesn't matter. Jesus is about 30 when he dies, and then you have from 40, 50, 60, you have all the work through the Book of Acts, which we've covered, and then over time, after the first 50 years of the church, so it's about 80 AD. Many of the apostles have died. When I say died, they've usually been martyred. Paul's been martyred, and there's one apostle that is still alive, and it's John.
He's the last one alive.
Last one alive.
I probably would have always assumed that, obviously, because of the letters. But
so he is, and he's so about 80 AD, so 50 years after Jesus. So he's an 80-year-old man, effectively. He's writing to the letters that he wrote to 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, because of the great pressures. We've talked about this. Yeah. He writes the Gospel of John, and then he is put onto Patmos. In this time, Timothy has been established. Paul has come here and spent many years ministering in Ephesus, and the whole region was impacted by the gospel. There was a great outpouring of revival. Timothy is established as the pastor of Ephesus. Mary is brought most likely from Jerusalem up here. John looks after her. She is housed and looked after in Ephesus. But John now is exiled to Patmos and is in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and he has this revelation, and the angel says, I'll explain things to you, and he sees Jesus. He gets a message for these 7 churches. He would be familiar with them all. He probably traveled to them at some stage. They're all connected. Some of them, like Ephesus, has other New Testament writings. Colossae is just over about here. I don't know whether you can see near where that number 7 is where Colossae was, where the letter of Colossians was a sister city to Laodicea. That was
the one where there was 3 local churches.
There was a little triangle of churches there, and I'm using my mouse, but you can't see the mouse up here. So all right, so down in Patmos, where that A is down the bottom left, all right, is where John is writing these things. And so it's about 80 AD, coming up to 100. There's some persecution that's happening. There's increased persecution that is coming. We've had already some persecution with the church, with Nero burning churches. So there's been waves of persecution. There's a persecution that's not just in one location, it's sort of in places, and eventually it becomes everywhere. But at the moment it's sort of here, there. John's put on into Patmos. So 600 years ago, or 600 BC, the city of Smyrna was destroyed, and so it was no more. And it pretty much stayed in as ruins, not really rebuilt, until the time of Alexander the Great. Now, Alexander the Great was a Greek, and he came to prominence about 300 BC, so 300 years before the time of Christ. Now, it was his rule was actually quite significant, because at the time the Persians were ruling, and he came and he first of all had to take the leadership of Greece. You know what I mean? He had to unite them. And unite normally means fight internal civil fight. There's a whole lot of civil wars and bits and pieces. Eventually, he raised up. He's only a young guy, so I think he died around 30. So he's only a young guy. Alexander
did a lot in the time
he did a lot. Well, and one of the greatest things is he came over and he came into these regions and he fought battles against ridiculous odds. The Persians had this huge army, and the Greeks weren't that large, they're much small, but they were audacious, they were bold, they attacked them in a way that the Persians weren't expecting, and just took them on and caused them to actually have a great rout, and then victory after victory, and eventually he became the leader, and then he headed off, he was off towards Asia, the real Asia, and I'm pretty sure that his general said, listen, we've had enough. The men were just done.
Appreciate what you've done.
Can we give up now? So I think my history reminds me that he eventually came back. But he and at 30 years of age, he was just the top of everything, but an internal mess. He used to have competitions to see how much he could drink, and I gather he's a man who's incredibly driven, but now incredibly aware that everybody's out to get him. He knows the enemies, but then you sort of internal struggles, and you overseeing such a large empire, it's very difficult to sort of keep track of everything that's happening.
Correct.
And so he I think after a drinking bout where he just drank himself so sick, he killed himself. Anyway, that's my understanding of history but what he did do was bring the Greek culture right across this region and down into Egypt, and I think there's a city called Alexandria, Alexandra, named after him, built by him in Egypt. So his influence went way beyond his his victories and his time on earth, because he brought Greek culture and the Greek language to become the dominant force throughout this whole region. So when the Romans came, even though they brought Latin and things like that, Greek was still the language everyone was writing in.
Yeah.
So, they're not writing in Hebrew, they're not writing in Persian, they're not writing in any Egyptian. Everyone's writing in Greek. So we have the New Testament in Greek, and it's the common writing language. Jesus spoke Aramaic. He didn't speak Greek, but they would have all been able to speak Greek.
So that was just understood, because now you say the Romans with their Latin, the Greek, the Hebrew. So there's a lot of cultures and languages sort of not clashing, but just mixing through here. So it was commonly understood, or you just knew. I'm guessing that Greek was the common. If you're
writing something down,
writing specifically.
So if they were writing things,
Greek.
So Jesus would have been speaking Aramaic in his sermons, but when they came to write it down, they did it in Greek.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. So so that was the language that would. So that's why New Testament, and the term Greek became synonymous with a Gentile to the Jews and the Greeks.
Okay.
This it doesn't actually mean Greeks; it just means the non-Jews.
Right. Yeah. Us and them.
Us and them, and Greeks was because it was such a dominant culture, and so that a lot of their thinking, a lot of the ways, and you get that with the Romans. You got mythology and the study. All the gods, they all had two names. They had the Greek name and then they had the Roman name, but they just merged the gods, but they just each had their own name for them. So there was lots of overlay, and the Romans were pretty good at they had their gods, but they were pretty happy to incorporate other gods. Their soldiers would go to the outmost parts and they would learn to worship the gods around them. They'd bring them back to Rome.
Make them happy.
Yeah, and they say, well, let's have
happy
a temple
gods,
with this god.
happy life. Is that where that phrase came
and then the gods, each god has its own role and a little story and stuff like that. And so 300 years after Smyrna's been destroyed, Alexander the Great comes into Smyrna, and the story is that he went up to the hill where the great temple that had existed there and had been destroyed, and he had an epiphany. I'm going to rebuild this city, but more than rebuild the city, I'm going to rebuild the temple. You know what I mean? I'm going to rebuild the worship here. So he rebuilt Smyrna, but with the temple as the main element. So it's an interesting city that Smyrna is built, and you can almost see in the city, it's like a crown around the temple. It's like the whole city is an extension of the temple.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? It's all designed to elevate the temple and the worship. So the whole city is like a giant temple, if you like. You know what I mean? It's not. It's literally marketplace and theaters and all the other things.
Very thoughtful building.
Yeah, but it's sort of done where you can look at it and sort of see. So it's like Smyrna is smug, because you got Pergamon is pretty proud, and you got Ephesus is like the example city down the below. But you got Smyrna sitting in the middle saying, we are the city. We're so rich. We've got this this awesome sort of design and temple. So 300 years later, they're a thriving, flourishing city with this awesome temple, and they're all sort of highlighting different gods, and the god that Smyrna is highlighting is it's a pretty weird god. if you like, if you can say it like that. Let me just see if I can get some details here. Okay, so her name is Cybele, Cybele, Cybele. We can probably go back here for us now. So Cybele. I'm just reading what Rick Renner wrote actually about Smyrna. He said, this can be reasonably concluded that the resurrected city of Smyrna, resurrected in the sense that because Alexander rebuilt it from the ruins, was designed to be a giant symbolic idol of its patron goddess. So the whole city is designed, because when he was up in the mountain, he went up there and apparently he had a sleep and he had an epiphany of the goddess, and is like, rebuild my temple. And so he's like, so he builds the whole city as like a giant single idol to this thing. So it's sort of got that whole thing. So Sabella worship evolved into the worship of the Ephesian goddess Artemis. But Sabella was depicted as a queen. Often, if you look at her idols, was a queen with, I think, lions. 2 lions sitting on each side of her. So it's a very queen-like. Initially, 200 years before, it became the official Roman religion, so it was embraced. But it was resisted before that. It wasn't embraced early because Sabella worship was pretty depraved. It was really even the Gentiles didn't like it initially, till they embraced it. All right. And in terms of Christianity, it would have been one of the more horrible sort of idols and worship that the Romans called her the Great Mother of the Gods, and so even now she's worshipped right across Rome, but guess where she's worshipped more than anywhere? Smyrna. Smug Smyrna. Now there's our goddess is worshipped everywhere, but really here is the heart of it all. We have not just a temple, but almost our whole city is.
The whole city is designed
for her.
Built around
it. So her background is, all right. So according to the legends, this is how they see her. Sabella was an offspring of Zeus, but when Sabella was born, however the gods worked, and was a child of Zeus, she was both male and female. Okay. And when he saw as a child that she was both female and male, he was horrified. He didn't want a double child. So he castrated this child and removed the male parts, and so she would just become female. The rituals that they went through were connected to that act, and so it was the worship and their special days were known as days of blood, because they would cut themselves. Because in her formation there was a castrating, there was cutting, there was blood.
Like mutilation.
Mutilation is probably good. She's the goddess that where mutilation is celebrated, and they would celebrate. Okay. And people would self-castrate as an act of worship to her. All right. So.
Oh dear.
A myth that formed around that in terms of the gods was that another god, Attis, fell in love with Sabella and was brutally castrated and bled to death. So on March the 24th of each year, the chief priestess of Sabella, who was in fact a castrated male, so all her priestesses were actually males that had been castrated, came into the temple, slit his arms, drew blood, and offered to Sabella in memory of Attis' bungled castration. And they call it the Day of Blood, March 24.
Okay.
Day of Blood, and then there'd be wild music. There'd be frenzy, sadistic, slashing themselves with knives, splattering the blood on the altar. And ritual was revered as the highest, holiest act of Sabella worship. So can you imagine for the Christians in Smyrna on, March the 24th of each year?
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah, it's extreme, and it spreads right throughout the whole city and stuff like that. And it's not like, well, they're just doing their thing. They're doing the Smyrna thing. This is who we are.
Yeah.
This is our whole city. And so for you not to join in, but even to show disdain or to say you shouldn't do it, she's a false god, she's not true, is high treason. It's like you're just working against the whole city.
So you couldn't just plan your annual holiday around that time.
Yeah. So I can't come in today. So mostly the people serving Sabella were eunuch priests called Gali, and there were some females as well, but they were mainly men who emasculated themselves and then fully dressed themselves as females and became very feminine. They painted themselves, dressed as totally female, to the point where some of them you couldn't even tell that they weren't born female. So that's the city, and all their priestesses are doing it, and they celebrated blood and gore and all the rest. They were considered to be a third gender, neither male nor female. They were just these Sabella people. They took female names. And they would, through these people, the spirits would speak to the people. So Sabella would speak through these priestesses, these Gali. So they became mediums and channels. They would bring oracles. So one of their main roles to connect with the spiritual realm and to speak. So that's the atmosphere of Smyrna.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Through their own castration, they were created in the likeness of Sabella, and they then experienced a stronger connection with the spiritual world because of that mutilation. So people would come all around the world to that temple to seek the wisdom that would come through these people, to get the oracles and supernatural direction. They used wine at times, different drugs and plants to create hallucinations, and so they opened themselves up to the spirit realm, and then the spirits would speak through them and give answers to people seeking help. As the number of people increased, so did all the worship and that. So Smyrna is a happening place.
Yeah.
With all this trade coming through, but also the goddess Sabella at the center of it all, and people coming for both. You get trade and.
Was this at the height of the temples in the other cities, simultaneously?
Yeah. So you got Diana. Remember Diana, the Temple of Diana, when Paul a few years, this is a couple of decades before. But they were so upset that he was taking away from their great goddess Diana. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And with the burning of the.
Yeah, and Pergamon had their own gods. Pergamon particularly had a god, a big temple. They all had temples to the Caesars. Yeah. The current Caesar was treated by now as a god. It sort of had developed over the last 80 years or so. The worship Caesars went from being great leaders to godlike to being gods,
and so that's still happening simultaneously with this here.
Because this didn't stop other temples being there.
It just seems like they're really going all in on this.
Yeah.
How can they go?
Well, they go all in on this, but they're not exclusive.
Right.
They're very inclusive. Like you can do this, and then on Wednesday you can go down to the other idol, and then you got your gods, and you got your local family gods, and your homes. The rich homes, they've got little. They've excavated, and they're of a family home, and they've got little, little idol spots on little altars in the home, and they've got little. They found the actual images or the idols themselves in there, so they know what they were worshipping as the family. So you had your family gods, you had your gods, and if you're a member of a particular trade, they were called guilds, which is, it's like a union, but union's really more focused on just the work and the rights and things like that. Yeah. The guild was all about the everybody who participated in that particular trade were part of a guild, and the guilds also were very heavily connected with idolatry, and you would have to become part of that. That shows up in Thyatira, which is a trade city. When I say trade, is a tradies city. Lots of guilds in Thyatira. which we'll get to in a little while. We'll remember Paul in Philippi. He met a woman who was a seller of purple.
Yeah.
And it was a woman from Thyatira.
Yeah.
All right, and they made a lot of cloth. They had it, and they were known for that. So she's selling cloth over in Philippi, and it's not unusual that she's from Thyatira because they had but their guilds were all based around worship. So the guilds would have been in each city. Some of them had more focus on that, and it was the guild, the silversmiths guild, that was so upset that Paul's taking away our business. Who's this God? So yes, there's multiple gods. It's integrated in every part of what you're doing.
Seamlessly entwined in every aspect, in every part of their life. Just to keep them happy, so that they have a good life.
Yes, and it's all integrated. And you've got one group that's not playing the game. All right. Now we've actually got two groups. Who's the other group?
The Jews.
The Jews, but they get a free pass.
Because they got ancient.
Yeah, because they're very old. They also keep their head down, and they
help with trade.
They help with trade, and in fact, they hate the Christians too. So
it's fine.
Yeah, so that's like so you got a bit. We've lived here for years and we don't cause trouble. We sort of we get by. You guys, you're the troublemakers.
You hate them too, or you must be all right then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and enemy of my enemy is my friend. So there's this grotesque stuff happening. Sort of symbol of fertility. So there was lots of immorality. Anyway, so you just get the feeling. You get. Does that give you?
It really does paint a picture of what they were doing, why they were doing it, and why it just went so far.
Yeah.
And how it was just a part of their life. Yeah.
So pagan sacrifice. All right. So let's look at the letter now. Let's having sort of got that feel for Smyrna.
We got the more of the background of
what you feel, what it's like to live in smug Smyrna. There,
So now you can understand when the city or society, they don't just hate you. There's a real specific reason why they really hate you.
And I tell you what, if there's an earthquake, they hate you the more because they probably had that earthquake because of you.
Yeah. Something happened. Yeah. Christians.
Stupid Christians.
Yeah. The scapegoat.
Yeah. And let's bring this up. And to the angel in the church in Smyrna, write, the first and the last, who was dead and has come to life, says this. So first of all, Smyrna is all wonderful, but to he who is the first and the last.
Not just another one added in. Yeah. It's the first and the last.
Yeah. And the one who is dead has come to life. All right. That's probably going to play more of a role here, in the sense of, hey, they can kill you, but they can't keep you dead.
Yeah.
I'm the one that has life. And we talked last week a little bit about in Revelation chapter 1 when we saw Jesus and he said, I'm the one that is dead but is alive for eons and eons.
And eons. Forever and ever.
Ever and ever. So that's important.
Yeah.
Because especially if someone's threatening to kill you,
you need to know that.
I'm serving him who's alive forever and ever.
You need to have that in your spirit, in your heart.
He says, I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you're rich. You live in a very wealthy place, but you are being excluded from those riches because of the choices you're making. And but actually you've got the real riches.
Yeah,
you've got the real stuff happening.
That's right.
And the blasphemy by those who say they are Jews and are not, but are of a synagogue of Satan. So you've got the Jews there causing them particular harm. So I like to say, if you want to remember what Smyrna is the smug Smyrna with the synagogue of Satan.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Sabella and the synagogue of Satan.
Yeah. the Jews, like, knowing, you know, the persecution that they've had, you know, present or in the past, in this situation, they would be more than happy to be. It's them. Look at them. They're the problem.
Yeah, they are. So a couple of interesting things here. Well, let's just read the whole thing first. Do not fear what you're about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to cast some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and you will have tribulation for 10 days. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. And crown life. No, life. It's the life crown. Remember who it here? Yeah, I was dead, and I've come to life, and I'm giving you the crown of life.
Of life. Yeah.
It's all about life that I have, but the death. And he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. He who overcomes shall not be hurt by the second death. Which is the throwing in the lake of fire.
So they're in a place or a situation where real death, particularly maybe in that 10-day period of testing, because it even says, tested, be faithful unto death. So it's like, some of you, I don't know, some of you might die, or be in prison, but it's like he's highlighting the impact of. Okay, that's just like what you said before. That's just the first death, but the second death, you're all good.
Now, were they going to be killed? The translation in the New American is, "They may be testing you, be faithful unto death." Let's just have the ESV, which faithful unto death, which is a repeat. Holman Bible, be faithful unto death. The new NET is just be faithful even to the point of death. So it's saying not necessarily you will die, but faithful even if it comes to that. Do you know what I mean? But not, it doesn't sort of say you will die.
You will die.
But just be faithful even if you come to death. So let's have a look at the other translation.
Well, that's probably better for them.
Jewish Bible. Oh, what did I do there? Jewish Bible, even to the point of death, remain faithful even to the point of death. Sorry, it's playing games with me. All right, Living Bible, remain faithful even when facing death. New Living, but if you remain faithful even when facing death. Message Bible, don't quit even if it costs you your life. So even if. Passion Translation, for 10 days you'll have distress, but remain faithful to the day you die.
Okay. So it's not actually necessarily talking about you will die, but it's just stick it out.
Yeah. So like you might die, but it doesn't matter. Stay faithful. Doesn't matter, even if it ends in death. Stay faithful. Don't give up. So that's the sort of probably the essence of it, rather than hey, be faithful. You're going to die in persecution. Now we're all going to die, but unless you're there when Jesus comes and things like that. So it's but just stick it out, even if and 10 days is that 10 literal days? Probably not, because of the way the numbers work in Revelation. 10 is more just a representation of a time, but maybe physical, but it's certainly and they went through more than 10 days of persecution. So these so you can hear the pressure, and it's coming from the Jews. The Jews are the synagogue of Satan. What a people. Now let's just have a look at this. It will pop us up. We'll say hi to everybody. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the blasphemy that they speak so badly of you by those who say they are Jews and are not. Now, I don't want to point God, when he gets it wrong. Do you know what I mean? When God says something and you say, just want to.
Do you know what you just said?
Yeah, I just want to highlight something. Maybe God, you might want to think about rewording this. When it comes, a Jew is. There's no real question about who's a Jew or not. If you both your parents were Jews,
yes,
you're a Jew.
You're a Jew.
Okay, whether you want to be a Jew or don't want to be a Jew, you're effectively a Jew. Now, you might not follow the Jewish religion. You might not be a devout Jew. You might be a carnal Jew, but you're still a Jew, because a Jew is and something, you don't choose to be a Jew.
Yeah.
You don't have 7 kids and you say that one will be a Jew, that one will be a Jew, but the others are not. No, if you have 7 children, they're just Jews.
Right.
They don't. You don't get to 21 years of age and say, will I be a Jew or not? Yeah, I might not. I might act like a Jew, but I can't.
Yeah.
So when he says they are, who say they are Jews and are not, well, he's not talking about people that are not born Jews. These are people who say we are Jews, but he said they're not Jews. I'm like, well, how can you say they're not a Jew? They're not behaving like Jews should. But he's saying they're not Jews.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way of God looking at it, saying he has an expectation, and when they're behaving outside the expectation, he says, I don't recognize them as Jews.
Yeah.
Even though they are Jews, I don't recognize them for their Jews. And you see that in the book of Romans, chapter 2. So this is just sort of a bit of just to give you a feel for how this was probably important to them, because how do they treat the Jews? Well, Jesus is saying, I don't recognize them as Jews because of what they've done and because of who they are. So this isn't really to us. It's like an intellectual sort of exercise in one sense.
Yeah.
But in reality, for them, it's important. Do you know what I mean? Because who are these people that are persecuting us?
Yeah.
What are they doing? So I'm just getting my reference. Okay, Romans chapter 2, verse 28. Let's pull up that for us.
It really builds like the atmosphere of what they were facing, how it would be like intense. The things that they could like possibly have gone through, or the pressing, the tribulation.
Yeah.
It's like, not necessarily easy living.
And and this is why last week's message is so important. Because it's easy to get into let's just hold on mentality.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we think we're going through such hard times, and here in the world. Look at what Smyrna was going through, and
We don't stack up.
And it finishes with, he who has the victory, he who overcomes, he who Nikeo.
Yeah.
This is the one. I'm expecting you to get victory through this. Now there is a point of holding on, and part of that is, and you see that in the church at Thyatira. In verse 25 of chapter Revelation, it says, nevertheless, what you have, hold fast until I come. Hold it. And part of getting the victory is at times just grabbing what God's given you and digging in.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that there's not a sense of a bulldog just holding on, but we're not the victory is we're told to be winners. We're told to be victory. The church of Smyrna. So that's why
you're not going to fall over the line.
No. So you go back to last week, and that become every time you read one of these churches and you go, oh dear God, they're doing well just to be Christians. No, that is not God's attitude.
Yeah. That's not what he expects.
That's not. No, he says, no, we're going to get the victory.
Yeah.
You go back to your example church of Ephesus. He doesn't say, oh, listen, mates, you're doing really well. I know you've abandoned that love thing, but you're still Christians. You're still holding fast. Well done. He says, no, you're gonna lose your lampstand if you behave like this. Repent. You need to because we're gonna come through this, and you're gonna love. You're gonna come through with love. You're gonna love me. You're gonna love people. We're gonna do this. Because love enables us to get the victory. And then you have John's letter, which is all about you're going to overcome the world. How do we overcome the world? By our faith. And John's letter is all about love. He says you can't say you love God and not love your brothers.
Yeah.
He says so. He's like, man, we're going to do this, and we're going to do it well, and we're going to love, and we're going to get the victory, and you're going to overcome the world. This is how you overcome the world, by your faith. It's, you know, we get classic verses in the letter of John, like, greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Yeah. That's the context of this verse.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you know what I mean? You know, it's the people at Smyrna that he's saying that verse to. Greater is he who is in you than he that's in the world.
Yeah.
This is not an equal fight. And you've got to stay in love, and you've got to stay in faith, not in the sense of building a fortress around you, but, you know, we're going to take the love of God everywhere.
Yeah.
We're expanding this here. So yeah, you've got this whole perspective, and you read it and you shrink back to, hold on. But the message is not hold on. The message is be victorious.
Because if hold on is like your just the thing that you're doing, it's like, well, you're not holding on to love. So
no, well, love. Let's. Hey, we can let love go.
Yeah. As
long as we've got our doctrines right.
We've got our doctrines right. We got to, you know, stay alive. We got to, you know, not accept them. We got to do this. Got to do that.
If I'm going to do this, let's throw off the stuff that's holding, you know, that's pulling me down. Yeah. This love thing.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
They really like it's like the love is the foundation underneath everything that they were doing. Yeah. And so without that, it won't hold. It won't stand.
Yeah. Okay. Like someone's on their deathbed, and I'm going to go to minister to them, and the nurse says they've got 30 minutes to live. All right. I'm getting them saved. Make sure that they're trusting in Jesus. Am I talking about their love life and how they treat their neighbours? Probably not going to be concerned about that, because it's like, I just want you to be ready for heaven. I don't know, how you treat your neighbours doesn't matter. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Let's get the core right, which is actually you being saved and you having your Jesus is Lord. Is Jesus Lord? Do you trust him in the resurrection of the dead? Do you love your neighbour? Oh, listen, we haven't got time for that. All right? And that mindset, don't worry about that, because that word for left is not lost, as many people think. You know, they have lost their first love. No, they didn't lose it, they left it. And an alternative for that word left is a good translation, can be abandoned.
They moved away.
Moved away and abandoned it. You have abandoned your first love. You've tossed it overboard.
Yeah. So that's like almost abandoned is like what am I saying? It's like you really chose. You
make it as a choice.
You made a choice. You chose to do this, and you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, there's that sort of element to it. Whereas I always thought it was like, oh, we've drifted. Yeah. No, you've abandoned. Yeah. Okay. Lost is drifting. Left is an abandonment. You've moved away because you've grown past that which was established. You've left that which was foundational at the start, and you've not been building on it. And I'm not happy. And you're going to lose your lampstand if you don't sort this out. If you don't sort this out, it's so important, because love as a foundation is important for victors. Smyrna is we're going to get victory here. Stay faithful, stay true, even to death. But it's, that's why Ephesus is the example. Is like, guys, we've got to stay in love. Yeah. So even though that message wasn't repeated here, it's implied that that's also your message. Really, don't. But these Smyrna, one of two churches, no negative. There's no buts. They're doing well in the midst of this. No buts. They're doing good. Yeah. Hold on. And even though, hey, it's costing you a lot. People saying the Jews are mocking you, speaking disparagingly. Oh, they're poor. Well, we're poor because you exclude us from the guilds. We're struggling because you won't let us buy at the marketplace. Yeah. We can't go there and set up a shop. We can't do this. We're being put down. And every time we try and move forward, you are blaspheming us. You're speaking badly of us, and you're saying, "Oh, they're the one. Hey, remember that earthquake that happened? It's all the Christians. Do you know how we've had a bad.
No, we're more than happy.
Yeah, we've had a bad crop." It's them. You know, it's this is happening. Gnomon, them. It's them. It's the so in Romans 2:28, Paul said, "For he is not a Jew who is one outwardly, because neither is circumcision that which is outward is in the flesh, but he is a Jew." He is a Jew who is one inwardly, and circumcision is that which is of the heart, by the Spirit, not by the letter, and his praise is not from men but from God. So Paul is even saying, you know what, just being circumcised, just being Jewish in your inheritance, that's not really what a Jew's about. It's of the heart.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of echoed again in what Jesus is saying. Hey, they say they're Jews, but they're not. But it's interesting if you look back at where what he says they are. He says they're a synagogue of Satan.
Because their synagogue in the New Living Translation belongs to Satan.
Yeah. Yeah, they're. It's interesting. He is tagging the whole thing of what's happening to Satan's involved in this. And then you go into the Revelation and you see what's happening in heaven, and you see the great fight and the beast and the dragon who is the Satan, and you see the end of him. So even though you see
the Babylon system of worship here. Yeah,
you see the great fight, and well, what does it look like? Well, people here are actually doing his work. And the synagogue, which should be a place of God, is actually a place where the devil himself, Satan, is actually influencing. And so we live in an earth, we do not fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of wickedness in high places. Places where Satan is actually having an influence. So even though it might have a name that says, that this should be a good thing, but who's actually controlling that? Who's actually running that? Who's actually influencing it? And it's interesting, I would have said, Sabella Temple, that's where Satan is. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm talking about the synagogue. Synagogue gets it. The next one we get to is, Pergamum, proud Pergamum, and they're amazing. Well, they say that's where Satan has his throne, Jesus says.
Wow.
He has a high place there. So like Satan's at work, and in here he's working through the synagogue, and he's doing this. Okay, do not fear what you're about to suffer. The word suffering. Should Christians suffer?
Why have you said this? Why did you say it that way?
Yeah, do not fear what you're about to suffer.
What are you saying?
So here's a question. People say, why do Christians suffer? Why do good people suffer? Is a big question. And people say, well, we don't have to suffer. Jesus took it all at the cross. And then Jesus says, you're about to suffer. And you hold fast and get, stay strong, even if you end up dying.
Even unto death.
So it's like, so are we meant to suffer? All right? And so you can do two things. You could say, well, that's a bit disconcerting, but let's move on.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, let's go on. But we are here at Breakthrough Academy, so we're going to take some time to.
We won't cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, we're going to make the bridge now. All right, because it's actually a really interesting thing when we see the word suffer. What does that bring to your mind?
Well, if you say like suffer, I think naturally a lot of people, I know I would go to like. And it's in a weird way, not necessarily die, but you go to the extreme before death, which seems like worse than just dying.
Yeah, it's like it's misery and pain, but not dead.
Your comforts, all the life you know it's forever changed or gone, but you're not dead yet.
Yeah,
that's sort of.
Can I just ask you while we talk around this? If for those watching, I really appreciate your comments and things. When you think of the word suffer, how would you define if say you're going to suffer? How could you? What would you say is the definition? Because I think it's
It's because of something though.
Well, it's the words to why do good people suffer? you know what I mean? It means, well, we were talking, it's a very negative experience. You don't say why do good people have a good day, or normal day, or an average day.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Why do good people suffer means I'm talking about something. Why are they going through that? And physically, normally, often it's like why are they going through this physical battle where they're and we even use it in it. So, he was sick, but thank God he wasn't suffering, which would mean that he wasn't in pain.
Yes.
But then you see someone who
was more peaceful.
Yeah, at least he was peaceful. He wasn't suffering.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we can sort of say, listen, he was not doing well, but suffering is when you are feeling angst and pain and discomfort. And there are people that we're like, they are suffering. And it's like, just Lord, put them out of the misery. Okay, suffering and misery and pain are interwoven. So that when you sort of say, do not fear, you're about to suffer.
Hold on to your seat, sir.
So let's go, Josh. Josh is, for those who aren't aware, Josh is a jiu-jitsu man. People say, is that like a religion? No, it's a fighting where martial arts where they rather than do it from a distance, they love each other.
It's grapple.
Yeah, they hold and
aggressive
grapple.
cuddling.
Aggressive, and Josh was showing. He just started.
I don't know if you can see on camera. Whoops.
Yeah, look at all the bruises he's got around his arm because he's just started doing jiu-jitsu again.
People have been grabbing.
Yeah, look. Show that one. Show one again. Look. Josh, look at that. Josh has started jiu-jitsu. They've been grabbing him, and so it's like people suffering. I'm doing like this. Josh goes, that's probably not a.
That's all right. I can. If I can take their grabbing, I can. This will pass. It's all right.
Concept of pain. Yeah, Brooke says the first thing we can actually bring that up. Oh, that's very big. People won't be able to see that.
I can't see that.
Oh, we'll make it bigger. Anyway, I don't know whether you can read that over the top. First thing I think of when someone talks about suffering is the concept of pain.
Pain, yeah.
Actually, what don't we do? Why don't we just go there?
That's better.
Is this concept of pain? Yeah, Jay says pain, torment. All right. So when you say do not fear, you're about to suffer. I'm like,
do not fear. Like, start with. Is that like, appreciate what you're saying. Don't bother with the do not fear. Like, I've gone straight to suffering, alright? I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. So,
you're going to suffer, but don't fear.
Here we go.
At least say that.
Alright, Joe Rose has gone to the Noah Webster's. Okay, so, gone to the...
Why do I do that? Because it's fun.
Let's see if I can get any bigger. Okay, to feel or undergo pain of body or mind. Okay, so yeah, suffering connected with pain. To bear what is inconvenient, we suffer with pain, sickness, or sorrow. We suffer with anxiety. We suffer by evils past by anticipating others to come. We suffer from fear and from disappointed hopes. All right, so we put that concept, put that into...
It's actually sort of interesting, just quickly, like with the jiu-jitsu that I trained, I really love jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But to do that, you
gotta go over pain.
I had to get through that.
Yeah.
It's like we love Jesus.
All right, so let's take this verse. So which is 2:10. Do not fear, what you are about to suffer. All right, and let's take you are about to feel or undergo pain of body or mind. To bear what is inconvenient. You're going to suffer with pain, sickness, or sorrow. You're going to suffer with anxiety. Wow. You're going to suffer by evils past and by anticipating others to come. You're going to suffer from fear and from disappointed hope.
That's going through all the layers of suffering.
What suffering means. So we have this concept where you're going to suffer. That is what we take with that word suffer.
That's where we go.
And that's where we go.
You think of the worst.
All right. So let's just dig into this a little bit. All right. Because... this will obviously, let's find out what the Bible says about here. So first thing you want to do is, let's have a look what the Greek word here is for suffer. to suffer. Okay, so I want you to look at here. It's the Greek. Oh, people say you can't see. Pasco. All right. All right, Pasco. Now look at the number 3958. That's the three. When they did the Greek dictionary for the Bible words, this ended up as number 3,958 in the dictionary. All right, so they just numbered the dictionary.
It's a few words.
So because you can't. That's what Greek looks like. I was going to point to the thing. We don't have it. Okay, you can see the Greek up the top there. No one can read that unless you can read Greek.
Yeah.
It's all Greek to me. Pasco. So that's the number. When we look at the Bible, okay, so I'm going to do something here. Go back here. I'm going to hopefully do a search. Okay, I can search on that number. Oh, it's not going to find it in there for me. Okay, what I'll do, I'll switch my Bibles to the New English Translation with
the notes.
With the numbers. Okay?
Oh, with the numbers.
All right, so Revelation 2:10, every Greek word that is you also get the number on here. All right?
Yeah.
So you can see, so when it says suffer, it says the Greek word is 3958. So I'm going to search for that one now. And it says, it might be a bit small for you here, there's none in the Old Testament, funnily enough, because it's all Hebrew.
Yeah.
So this is only going to find them in the New Testament. So even though it's searching in the whole Bible, it's only found in the New. It's found 41 verses and 42 times this word. So there's one verse that has it used twice.
Yeah.
And so you'll have it. This is telling you where that Greek word appears, regardless of how it's translated, because it won't always be translated as suffer.
Right.
But most times it's suffering. In Mark chapter 5, verse 26, so said she had endured a great deal. But other translations, she had suffered a great deal. All right, so this is just every verse, 42 times it appears. Most times it's using the word suffer. All right, but let's just go back to the New English Translation, but take off the numbers. So we're just going back to that. Now I'm just going to search, not for the Greek word. I'm just going to search for the word suffer. And I'm going to only now in the New Testament, and I'm going to put partial match, which means we'll get suffer, suffered, suffers, suffering, all the sort of derivatives, but just the word suffering. Can you see that there are 102 verses with 108 matches? Now remember, so there's 42 times that that Greek word appeared. Yeah. But there are another 66 times that the word suffer appears, but it's not using that Greek word.
Right. Okay.
All right. So what that tells me is that the English word suffer is broader than the Greek word.
The Greek word, right.
So there's Greek words that can mean suffer, but there's other Greek words that mean suffer, but they all get translated suffer. What you've got to watch for is our definition of suffer, does it match each Greek word?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's just work through the word suffer as it appears. So the first one is Matthew 4:24. So a report about him spread throughout Syria. This is about Jesus, obviously, in the gospel. People brought to him all who suffered with various illnesses and afflictions. Now, what we're going to look at is, I'm going to now switch to the New English Translation with the numbers. Just a minute, it's probably the easiest way to do here. All who suffered, and if you see there, it's Greek word 2560.
Not 39. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different word.
Different word.
All right. So let's just maybe do this. We don't need the holy holies there. We can do that. All right. So we've got our. Do you remember the number? Anyone remember the number? 35.
The original one?
Yeah, 35.
Was it 3590?
Zero?
I wasn't sure if it was 39 or 35.
Yeah, let's
Might as well.
yeah, let's get this right, eh? So let's go. We can go back to here. Let's go back to Revelation, where we started.
Mm-hmm.
About to suffer. 3958.
58. Yeah.
Everyone's like, can you imagine people there who are good with numbers? Like, it's 3958, you doofus.
Yeah. I thought that was obvious. Like, you didn't remember it. We just talk about it.
3958. And it's the Greek word Pasco. Okay, so and that's the one from Revelation 2. All right, but now let's go back. Oops. We're going back to. We'll stay in this one with all the numbers on it. It's a little bit messy, but let's do a search for that with the partial matches on and only in the New Testament. There we go. So we go to Matthew 4:24, and it says, "Brought to him all who suffered with various illnesses," and we have 2560 Kakos.
2560.
Yeah, so now everyone remembers the number.
Yeah. Might be the last one I remember.
Kakos. Kakos is just the word for bad. I just take it as khaki. It's bad.
Khaki. That's one way to remember it.
Yeah, that's it's a modern Greek word. All right, so when I'm actually learning modern Greek as a way of helping understand Bible word. So kakos. When I look at kakos, I know kakos. Kakos is bad. It's kakos. That's bad.
That's bad.
It's just bad.
Just bad.
Just bad. So let's have a look at the definition of that. Bad. Evil. Badly.
Badly.
Echo means to have.
Yeah.
I have something, I echo it. So to echo kakos is I have it bad. I have it badly.
Have it badly.
So kakos means to have it bad. That probably does line up more with our definition.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's certainly not good. It's actually pretty bad.
Have it bad. Bad stuff's happening. I've got bad stuff, and so that's what was it? Matthew 4:24. So is an example of that one. So that's they were sick. They had it bad.
Yeah.
They had illness, sick, kakos. They had it bad. But it's not pasco, which is also suffering. So they suffered with sickness. They kakosed with sickness.
Yeah.
But that was translated as suffered. So same English word, but that's
for the English language, but not the
Greek. So the Greek had Greek's got two. One
kakos and what was the
pasco.
Pasco.
Yeah. So let's look at the next one that's searched. Okay, Matthew 9:20 says, "But a woman who had been suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 years." Okay, suffering means she had it bad.
Yeah.
it was caused her a lot of distress with 12 years. I can understand suffering. So now we're looking for the Greek number here that this is where we got this from, and you'll see something interesting. Who had been suffering from a hemorrhage is all one word.
Because when you said the number, I'm like, there shouldn't have.
So don't worry about the end. The N46 is just a note.
Because that's at the end, but if there was the word for it, it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, so there's
with suffering.
the word "but" it's got a Greek word. The word "woman" is a Greek word. Who had been suffering from a hemorrhage is one word for 12 years. So they all got words except who had been suffering from a hemorrhage. So what is this word that can mean all of that?
Who had been suffering from
a hemorrhage. Heimorio. blood and real to flow. So the word is blood flow, which is hemorrhage. You can actually see hemorrhoid, hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is, so our English word has actually come from this.
Right.
So the word says she was hemorrhaging. The Greek is she was hemorrhaging. But in order to sort of, she's not just hemorrhaging, it's causing her a lot of distress.
Yeah.
So the English, they put suffering a hemorrhage. But the word suffering's not there.
Okay.
It's implied in the word hemorrhage.
Right.
But there's
in our language.
But the English, there's no.
But not in the Greek.
Right. So again, the bad stuff happening, the hemorrhaging happening, they're not actually connected to that Greek word in Revolution.
The Greek is just saying that she's hemorrhaging, not that she's suffering.
But it's implied in the hemorrhage was a nasty hemorrhage that caused you to suffer.
Yeah.
But in terms of what we're looking at from Revelation chapter 2 verse 10, Pasco's not here at all.
Yeah.
That word that's not here.
Yeah.
All right. So
would that be closer to she's got it bad?
She's just got
Caca.
Well, it just says she was hemorrhaging, and the Greeks the Greek
that's
word.
just the word.
All right. This is a one-off case, so I'm not gonna even include it in a list because it's been pushed in there by the translators.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's not even a Greek word for it.
Okay.
It's just a concept.
Right.
Okay. So what do you want us to put it in just so that?
Yeah.
But then I have to spell it. Was it 131?
Yes.
Yeah. Hayem or come on, just going back and forth. All right, and that was from. Well, you can see how often this appears in the Bible. It's Matthew 9:20. It's just once.
Just with the woman with the issue.
Yeah.
Of blood.
9:20. Yeah. So not just a hemorrhage. Not. Okay. So let's keep going. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence. Can you see the Greek word?
And suffered.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so there's no Greek word there.
Yeah.
It's just the word for violence.
There is no. Yeah.
All right, so now what we're going to do...
Oh, and it comes before the... So I'm not confusing that. It comes before violence. So the N24 is for violence. There's nothing for suffered.
Yeah.
So it's not... It wasn't there.
No, so suffered violence is it's just connected with the word violence.
Yeah. All
right, so it's not... It's just an implied sort of word. I just need to go and help with the family situation with the dog. With our dog. Our dog is needing help. That's one of the reasons we're here today, is because our dog's needing special care.
I'm going to jump back in and I will jump on there. Yeah, no, Buddy's hurt his leg a little bit, and if you don't know, Buddy is our Great Dane. He, is part horse, and weighs about 70 kilos. He's hurt his leg, so can't stand himself up properly, and with my thumb out of action, Dad's the only one who can lift him up when he needs to go out and pee and stuff like that. So Buddy was sitting there trying to get up. He's like, "Where's Grandpa?" And I need his help. So I'm swapping in for a minute. This is so interesting though, and this is what I love about Academy, is we get the chances to do stuff like this where we, get to dive, where else, because this isn't something you can learn in a Sunday service. Like a Sunday service, that's not what it's designed for, where else do we get the opportunity but something like Academy to really dive in, and we're studying one word and every time it turns up in the New Testament. But it's so interesting, and it is actually so impactful seeing the way it's used in different settings and stuff like that.
And I really appreciate, in a sense, praise God, we're so thankful for Pastor Peter, who does all of this.
Oh, exactly.
And so we're just getting the benefit of a lot of his work.
Yeah.
But even like, with all of Academy, what we do here, but in these times, we're here because we're hungry.
Yes.
And it's like, this wouldn't really work, or couldn't work that well, or in the same way in a normal Sunday service, and so if you're here, we're here. It's because we're hungry, and it's because we want to get the real. We want to get the Word of God. So
agreed. There's a power in that. And you're able to dive in and learn. You're able to learn things that it just brings everything else to life a little bit in such a cool, and interesting way. And I'm loving this study. I'm loving learning everything we have. The whole Revelation series has been so incredible, and I love what you said before. So many times in the Bible, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to leave that and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's like, Academy is the time where we actually get to cross those bridges. We get to be like, hey, we have the chance now to do these things.
Dig in. We're not just going to brush past this.
No, exactly.
As long as there's a reason for staying here. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's so good. It's so good having all of you join us as well. We've got Lee joining us, Pastor Christine, Judith, Joe, and Sheba. Obviously, Joe and Sheba. I think I've seen some other names popping up there as well. Brooke's been joining us. Katie's been joining us. It's so good having all of you join us today.
Yeah.
And it's been a bit different. Been more. One of the benefits of doing it here, you've got to have a coffee and pass me those hot chocolates. It's been nice to do it with the kitchen.
I've had a coffee. I'm sitting in the seats there are good anyway.
But it's a comfy seat. It's warm.
I think there's a heater or ducted heating here. So I'm like, I'm alright. I have to take my jumper off.
This is pretty good, isn't it? It's a good way to do it.
Don't get used to it.
Pastor Peter, you good if I jump out?
Yeah.
Finish off teaching us about the word suffering.
Yeah.
Certainly won't get used to it, but I'm sure we'll be back.
All right. So we're learning that just because the English word suffer appears, we can't just automatically take all our concept of suffering and associate it there, because there's 108 times it's mentioned in the Bible, but only 42 of those is the Greek word we're looking for. That is 66 more times it's used other places like kakos, bad.
And the other times, is that where it's like suffered violence? Is that where it wasn't in the Greek?
It wasn't even in the Greek.
But it's putting it with like
a Greek word to make a concept. Yeah,
the
concept could be there, but it's just not there. So we're not even going to put that one in.
So for like the violence, suffered violence.
So from that time on, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go.
Need that screen or
Yeah, they probably do need that screen. Josh, good point. They don't want to look at me reading the scripture when they can be looking here. He must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders. All right, so he's going to be. Now, this is not on the cross, going to the cross, but it's the persecution is going to rise. And look at the number.
3958.
That is our number.
That's our number. Was that our original number?
Yeah, that's our number. That's the one we're looking for. That's Pasco.
Pasco. I keep forgetting that word.
So Pasco says when he goes to Jerusalem, he's going to be Pascoed. He's going to Pasco under the hands.
Yeah.
So is he going to go there and get sick?
He's going to have it bad.
Yeah. Is he going to be? Is he going to have?
He's going to echo some other things.
He's going to have leprosy. Is he going to have diseases? No.
Pasco.
He's going to Pasco. He's going to be persecuted and afflicted by people, but he's not going to. Is he going to be? Now, ultimately, when he goes to the cross, there's torment and things like that, in the sin and all the rest. But when Jesus was going to Jerusalem, was he going to be hit with some sickness that's going to make him wish he was dead? No. That's not. Do you know what I mean? That's not what this is talking about.
Yeah.
This is about he's going to be afflicted and dealt with in a way that's not pleasant. All right?
Absolutely.
Unpleasant dealings. Okay. But they translate that as suffering.
Right.
And they make it the same as kakos. Whereas I sort of feel a little bit different. Okay.
Does the original Pasco, is that where it goes to the very through all the layers to the very core, and where these other ones.
Well, let's just look at how. One way to we can look at the definition, but one way to understand a word is to see how it's used.
Right.
All right. To get a feeling for a word, you look at its use in other things, and it gives you a little bit of feel for its wideness and its nuances. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to look. We're going to pick up a few of these ones, like, and I tell you that Elijah has already come. That yet they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they wanted. In the same way, the Son of Man will suffer at their hands. Pasco,
same number. Yeah.
I'm going to be persecuted. I'm going to be, badly treated by these people. All right, now here you got one, Pasco, and it's connected with something else. All right, and it's like
suffers terribly.
So, Lord, have mercy on my son because he has seizures and suffers terribly. So the word Pasco is afflicted.
Yeah.
All right, but it's connected, this one, with kakos. So it's put Paskos and kakos together.
Right.
So in this case, he's saying he's afflicted with bad stuff. You know what I mean? Jesus says, "I'm going, and the Jews and the elders are going to afflict me." This guy is saying about his son, he is being afflicted, but it's being inflicted by the stuff that causes suffering. The bad suffering stuff.
Yeah.
That's what has come to him.
Okay.
All right. So it's connected the two as he's been afflicted with the bad stuff. All right, you know what I mean?
Afflicted with bad stuff. Yeah, makes that connection.
Whereas afflicted, I'm tending to use the word afflicted for Pasco because it sort of, if I use the word suffer, it connects me too much to that first definition that we've been using. All right.
Yeah.
But if I use the word afflicted, it it's probably not maybe the best, but it makes a separation.
Is it sort of like afflicted one because of a choice, where the other is suffering terribly because it's not necessarily a choice, but it's been put on you? I don't know.
Yeah, suffering is, when we looked at that definition that we got from the Noah Webster from Joe Rose, it's like emotional torment, pain, suffering. You know what I mean? When I say suffer, it's like what I'm going through. Whereas the word that we're looking at, Pasco, is like it's being put on you, and you're being hit with hard times.
It's being I see that as the difference. It's put on you.
Yeah, you're being hit with persecution. You're being hit with affliction. You're being hit with stuff. Be aware. You're going to get hit with stuff.
Yeah.
Where if I put suffer in there, you think, oh, that means I'm going to be suffering, and I'm going to be feeling pain and fear and emotional torment and all that. No, that's not what we. Casco is they're hit with sickness, and they're suffering under those things.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just have a quick. We've taken our time initially, but we're going to move through a bit more quickly because we sort of just got them to go. When the end times come, for then there will be great suffering, unlike anything that has happened from the beginning. Okay, we need this one. This is another one.
This is a new one, yeah.
2, 3, 4, 7. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 7.
Another Greek word to learn.
Yeah, let's make sure. Flipsis. Sounds like something Sylvester would.
Like when you first were explaining and teaching us, like I said, love. I feel like I got a handle. That's Hebrew. That's Hebrew, but like I don't know if I'm gonna get a handle on this one.
This sounds like something that Sylvester the cat would say.
Yeah.
Flipsis. Okay. Have a look here. To crush, press, compress, squeeze. it's to squeeze.
So that's more like the pressing, like
under pressure, the squeeze, the tribulation, which is tribulation, trouble, and affliction. So so this word I'm going to put in here. Okay, squeeze.
Pressed.
I'm being pressed. I'm being okay. To be squeezed is different to suffer in terms of those two definitions from Noah's Webster.
Because you can be squeezed and then I'm getting pressure, so I will relent. I'll do. I'll change.
Yeah. But you can be pressured,
and then the pressure
but
goes.
not suffering.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to be in torment and pain and feeling. Okay. Let's just put this definition in here. For then there will be a great pressing, unlike anything that has happened from the beginning of the world. There'll be a great squeezing. Pressure is going to come on.
Yeah.
Does that say there was going to be a great pain of body and mind? There's going to be pain, sickness, sorrow, anxiety. We're going to evils past, anticipating, fear, and there might be fear, and there might be anxiety if people let it in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Right. People, but there's going to be a pressing, and it's just depending on how you're responding. But it's not suffering as we necessarily would. You can't take the word suffer and put it in there.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the New English translation, they've actually said suffering. 4 different words so far, or 3 main different words.
Yeah.
And they're each being translated suffer, but they've got a different.
It's sort of interesting when it's just like you're not looking at the root word in the Greek and they've just put the English word there, and it can take you to where it's not necessarily that, but because they've used suffering, and without knowing this in your mind, or without knowing, which I didn't before this, that's where I would go.
Yeah,
that's what I would think.
You said, well, that's that's the definition of suffering.
Yeah,
and now we're applying it to all 3 different Greek words equally. But as we see, kakos is physical suffering, got it bad. Thlipstos is I'm under pressure, and pasco is the pressure and they're being treated badly, being mistreated.
The affliction. Yeah.
The affliction. I'm being afflicted with something. I'm being pressed. I'm being treated wrongly by these people. All right. So let's keep moving through. So Matthew 24:29, immediately after the suffering of those days, 2, 3, 4, 7. So the pressure, the squeezing.
The last one.
Then we've got Mark 5:26, suffering from a hemorrhage. There is a Greek word there. It just simply means the word in. She's been in a hemorrhage. In a hemorrhage. Right. So it's not like that's words for suffering. No, it's just a movement word. Hemorrhage. So again, they just added suffering to build up the understanding. Because if they say she had a hemorrhage, it's probably the Greek word implies the hemorrhage was bothering her and upsetting her. So we'll put suffering in. But that's not in the Greek. So that's not what Jesus is sort of talking about there. Then Jesus began to teach him, saying, the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders.
That's the Pasco?
Yeah, it's the Pasco. He's going to suffer many. He's going to be rejected by the elders. He's going to, and the exposition, and be killed. And so they're going to afflict him. They're going to get him. They're going to hurt him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's not suffering in the sense of, I'm going to have sickness and I'm going to be in pain. And, Now, we know with the work of the cross, he was beaten up and all the rest. But the word is, I'm going to be afflicted. I'm going to be treated. I'm going to be mistreated.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah.
All right. Again, some of these are repeats, so I'm just going to skip over because in the book of Mark and Matthew, so let's skip through some of them. Luke 6:8. Those who suffered from unclean spirits were cured. Okay, we've got another one here. Enocleo. That's the word in that we had from just mentioned. Enocleo, to disturb. In disturbance. They've been troubled. They've been upset. Okay, so we should probably put this one in Greek 1776. Sounds like a date. Thinking something important.
Do you still want that definition up?
No, we can get rid of that. That's probably a good catch, Josh.
So this is disturbed. Is that what this one was?
So to disturb. Disturb is probably a bit mild, but but it's real to be really disturbed.
So not just like out of balance. You're really off put.
So they were disturbed by demons.
Yeah,
they'd really been upset and disturbed. But the English word was suffer.
Suffer. Yeah.
But it's a Greek. So the demons had caused a disturbance in internal disruption. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. So we've got another one there. And so, when Jesus talks about his suffering, but first he must suffer many things. We're talking about our word, pasco. But he's not using the other Greek words there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's just skip. Okay, so Acts 1:3 on the other side, to the same apostles also after his suffering, he presented himself alive. Pasco. Yep. Oh, sorry, I'm going. Let's skip down. Again, there's 108 verses matches, so we don't. Let's skip down to 1 Peter.
This is something that you can continue in your own time.
Yeah.
If you had,
yeah.
If this was, if you wanted to go through everything.
Just interested to see. Okay. Here's one. My aim is to know him, to experience the power of his resurrection, to share in his sufferings, and to be like him in his death. Now the word there for sufferings, 3804, so it's a little slightly different to what we're used to.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it's actually a derivative of Pasco, 3958.
Okay.
So it's the
A noun from.
yeah. So it's connected, the same concept.
Right. Okay.
All right. So so we are to share.
So that's like two words for saying the same thing.
Yeah, they're related words.
Related words. Yeah.
They're from the same root connection.
Okay.
So you can sort of say they're on the same family.
Okay.
All right. So we can share in his sufferings. What people were experiencing under demons, not that type of suffering. What people were experiencing under sickness, not that kind of suffering. The hemorrhagic, not that kind of
Not the cacos.
But the Jesus being mistreated by the elders, we share in that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We share in the mistreatment that he was going to experience because people are going to mistreat us.
So you share in that.
Yeah, we share in that. So when it says share in the sufferings, if you take the Noah Webster dictionary, you get the wrong picture.
Yeah, and that's exactly the picture that I got.
Yeah.
That's where I went.
Yeah, so we're sharing in his mistreatments. Now, the mistreatments weren't mild, they were severe.
They were, yeah.
In Revelation, to the point of death.
Yeah.
So they're not mild mistreatments, but they are mistreatments and afflictions being put on you.
Yeah.
Now I rejoice, Paul, in Colossians 1:24, I rejoice in my sufferings for you. Guess what? It's the one we just looked at.
Yeah.
Same
family.
I rejoice because I'm being afflicted, because I'm choosing to serve you.
The mistreatment.
I'm being mistreated for your sake.
Yeah, because that's good, because if you're not being mistreated, it's like, ooh, what have I lost here? What have I dropped?
Yeah.
So there's a commandment in that.
But although we suffered earlier, okay, so this is looks like it's a different word, but it's pro pasco, pro before, and pasco. Pasco is our word.
Yep.
So I was pascoed before.
Okay. That's already happened.
It's what's happened.
It's not new.
Yeah, this is in the past.
Yeah.
So although I was pascoed in the past and were mistreated in Philippi, I was mistreated by the people in Philippi when I was trying to minister to you in Thessalonica. Remember when I came down? When I was in Philippi, they mistreated me. Suffering is what they did to him when they grabbed him and threw him into prison.
Yeah.
Suffering is what they did to him when they beat him with.
Pro-pasco.
Suffering is when they put his feet in stocks.
Yeah.
All right, and he said, I was pascoed then. All right, that gives a picture of how Paul treats this word.
Yeah.
All right.
It's interesting.
So let's go down to. I'm going to skip right down through quite a few here. First Peter. First Peter uses this bit. Okay.
This is really cool though, because you can do this exercise. Pardon me. And like all these scriptures, because these are probably all scriptures that we've read and know, but then you can actually know and understand what is the Greek word, and you can have sort of that greater understanding of them, what that word is, what the actual scripture is saying. I think that would be pretty cool to do.
Yeah. I wanted to smooth. Let me just keep going.
But that's for people to do in your own time.
Yeah. They probed into what personal time the Spirit of Christ within them was indicating when he testified beforehand. In fact, they can have our beautiful face up here too, Josh. About the sufferings appointed for Christ. The sufferings, pathema, from Pasco. Okay, so it's the family one. It's still talking about the same.
So it's not pro. It's the same family again.
Pro Pasco was just putting like before.
Oh, okay.
So it's just earlier. It's Pro Pasco was just earlier before. We would use two words.
Like past Pasco.
Yeah. We use two words. The Greeks just have one word.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're just joined.
Right.
Earlier. This one is in the family. When he testified about the Pasco appointed for Christ and his subsequent glory. So the afflictions that were appointed to Christ, he was going to come, he was going to be afflicted. All right? But we use the word sorrows. He was going to be mistreated. He was going to be badly handled. However you want to. Okay. If for this finds God's favor, if because of conscience toward God, if you're doing the right thing, you don't go against your conscience, someone endures hardship in suffering, Pasco, unjustly. So you are treated badly, unjustly.
Yeah.
But because you've held to your conscience, you get mistreated and treated badly. Then he said, but if you sin and are mistreated and endure, and this one uses a different word, and you get beaten. If you sin and get beaten, well,
what were you expecting?
Yeah. For you were called since Christ also suffered. Pascoed. He was mistreated and beaten. He was wrongly treated. He didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't deserve it. Yeah.
And if you are mistreated, you're like Christ, aren't you? You're doing the Christ thing. Do you know what I mean? That's so if you're suffering sickness, that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's about being treated badly and abused because of your sin.
Yeah.
Not because you're going through something that's causing you suffering and what we call suffering. Do you know what I mean? So, what credit is if you do good and suffer, Pasco, and so endure, this finds favour with God. If you're mistreated and endure it, all right, so mistreated here is that word for beaten. If you're beaten up for that's a Pasco. If you're doing it for the right,
Yeah.
Okay. So there's verse 21. Since Christ also Pascoed for you, leaving the example for you to follow in his steps. Oops, wrong one. When he was maligned, he did not answer back. When he suffered, when he was Pascoed, he threatened no retaliation, but committed himself to God who judges justly. So this is not about when you're sick and you're miserable. This is about when you're being mistreated and badly handled.
Right.
Okay. Does that? Verse 3. It's better to Pasco for doing good if God wills it than for doing evil. All right. So people say it is God's will for you to suffer. Is that right? Therefore, it is God's will for you to suffer.
Yeah.
The trouble is, we're putting Noah's Webster's definition into what it means to suffer.
And it's now not, that's doing it wrong where it's suffering for the sake of Christ, but no, it's his will for you to suffer. Yeah.
It's God's will for you to stay true to your conscience and be obedient and not give in, even if you're mistreated.
Even if you're Pasco.
Even if you're Pasco. Because it comes with the territory. Comes with the territory.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? So that's really what is happening here. Because Christ also Pascoed in the flesh. So arm yourself with the same attitude. The same,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's good.
4:13. But rejoice in the degree that you have shared in the sufferings of Christ. The Pascos of Christ.
04.
Which is the it's
in
Pasco
the same
family. Pasco family.
The same family, yep.
In fact, I'm going to put that 3804. I'm just going to put up there if people are looking at this in the future. So 3804 is the same family.
Yeah.
All right. So that when his glory is revealed, so people I'm sharing in the suffering. Now, okay. People thought any suffering was to then share in what Jesus did. I read one of my great heroes in faith. Oh, we've gone wrong. One of my great heroes in faith was a guy, Columba. He was an Irish monk. He was an Irish prince, destined for a kingship of one of the peoples. But he also became a follower of Jesus and the church, because it was very Catholic back then. So so he had a continent, and it was called the something in the dove. So he had like two sides to him. Do you know what I mean? The king side, violence and rule, and the dove side, follow Christ and did him. And he was powerful, but he was powerful on both sides. In the end, he got into a fight over a copy of the Psalms. He stole it and he copied it himself when he wasn't meant to, they went to war over it. And because I was so upset, and because he's also the prince sort of guy, he went back to his people and he had an army behind him. So if you get upset with a priest, that's one thing. But if the priest has also got an army behind him, so they went to war, and because he got so mad, and he said and caused a lot of bloodshed. And then afterwards he's like, what have I done? I killed all these people fighting for And so he was exiled from Ireland, and he went over to the island of Skye, I think it is. Ionis. Maybe it's Ionis. Anyway, it's a scholar on the edge of the Scottish. So you can see the island's not too far away, but it's over, and it's an island just off Scotland. And back then, Scotland was very pagan, and a lot of witchcraft and stuff like that. And he went over and set up a monastery, and they built. And he went into Scotland and preached amongst the Picts, and that was really dangerous. But he did miracles. And first time I loved. He went to one place. Said, "Where am I going to preach?" And he found their altar where they did all their sacrifices, and he stood on that to do the preaching. This is not. They're going to call every curse down on me that they can, but I'm going to stand here and preach and prove that my God is greater than their God.
That's good.
But not that gentle. Let's try and work things out. He was power, and he had miracles and signs and wonders and stuff like that. But anyway, he was going through one place, and the plague had come, and so a lot of people dying of the plague, and he found some priests there ministering, some not priests, but what do they call the brothers? The monks there ministering, and they were like, "Come, brother, if you rub the bandages on you, because you also we get to share the suffering." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's him. Here's people suffering with the plague. Don't cure us. He wanted to pray for them. No. This is we're enjoying
It's God's will.
We're sharing the sufferings of Christ.
Yeah.
All right, by getting this debilitating, terrible disease, and then suffering through days of dying slowly.
We're being like Jesus.
Yeah, so that was their way of becoming like Jesus and suffering, and so they wouldn't wear warm clothes because they wanted to suffer. They wouldn't eat properly. Comfort. They'd wear things actually would cause them into discomfort because that's suffering.
Properly taking care of yourself.
And so he was horrified. And he's like, no, he's actually a miracle worker. He's a healer. And so in the book, I remember him going in and they're like, come and join, come. And because he's like, well, let's pray, let's sort this out, let's clean them up, and they're like, no, we're hoping to catch this. And so,
wow.
Yeah, I think in the book he just set fire to the whole place.
It's going to war again.
Well, in the sense of, it's the only way to stop it spreading.
Cleanse it.
And he says, well, man, I'm not getting it. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah.
But that mindset.
This doesn't continue anymore.
That mindset has been in the church that any suffering becomes the suffering of Christ.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Any pain, any going through hard times, I'm sharing. No, the sufferings of Christ is being mistreated for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's when you share the sufferings of Christ. When you are standing on the truth and being persecuted for it, that's suffering for Christ.
Wow.
Okay,
that's good.
So that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you suffer as a Christian, I'm sorry. I'm just going to skip through now because I think there's more in 2 Peter.
You're mistreated for standing on the right thing and doing the right thing.
Okay. I know the distress you are suffering and your poverty. Trouble is, there's no Greek word for suffering there.
Yeah. So,
I know the distress you're going through because of your poverty.
Yeah.
The suffering is being added.
Right.
That's an added English word.
Yeah.
That's not in verse 9.
Yeah.
There is no...
Yeah.
They've
added in for effect.
Yeah. Your poverty's causing you to suffer. No, I know the distress you're having because of your poverty. The suffer is a translation choice they made.
Yep.
To help with that. I know the slander that's against you by these satanic Jews. But do not be afraid of the things you're about to pasco. Don't be afraid of the things that are about to be afflicted on you, about to come against you. You'll be thrown, the devil is about to have some of you thrown into prison, so you may be tested, and you will experience thlipsis, suffering. That's the squeezing.
The pressing, yeah.
So you're going to get mistreated, and the devil's going to squeeze you.
It's going to try and, you're making this stand, it's going to try and get you to change, turn around.
It's going to mistreat you and mistreating you, pressure you.
Make you uncomfortable so that you want to be go with the flow or be comfortable or not experience this.
Yeah.
Test you.
Yeah, you're being tested.
Your ideals.
And the devil wants to put you under pressure for 10 days, but remain faithful, even if it's to the point of death. And I will give you the crown that is life itself. All right? So does that put that into context?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do Christians suffer? Yes, we do. That type of suffering. Do we suffer like the woman with the hemorrhage of blood? Do we suffer like the demonized people? Do we suffer like the people that had sickness and disease? No, we don't. That's not my suffering.
No.
Christ took that. He bore that. So some people say, but we share in the sufferings of Christ. No, we share in the pascos of Christ, the tribulations and the pressures, the mistreatment, but not the sacrifice.
Yeah.
He alone became sin.
That's right.
He alone did the Isaiah 53. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He upon him, the Lamb was put the sicknesses.
Yeah.
He became my pain, that I could be free from pain.
Wow.
He became my sickness, so I could become free from sickness. That's Isaiah 53. That's not my suffering. I don't join in that. But the mistreatment and the pressure that came on him, I get to share in that. That's part and parcel of what it means. So I think Judith said it a little bit earlier when she said, we also suffer for righteousness' sake.
Yeah.
And that's exactly true. And that's the and that there's many scriptures on that. Do you know what I mean?
Because you're taking a stand.
Yeah.
A place that you do not move from. Yeah.
Can I promise you that we won't suffer as Christians? Oh, no, I'm telling you the opposite. Through many hardships and tribulations, we will enter the kingdom of God, says Paul to the churches. He tells them, hey guys, I'm sorry. You've entered into a world where you are coming against the local authorities, against the synagogues of Satan, and against the wicked, the temple beliefs and all the rest. But hey, we're going to get victory in this, and you're going to hold fast, and you got a crown of life coming to you, and the one you serve.
Going back to what you said before, he says the crown of life there, and with the actual city, that was like the crown around the temple.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know if that connection.
Yeah, people have made that connection.
That's like the crown, the crown of life.
Yeah,
That's what
There's a possibility they felt that their city was like a crown to their thing, and Jesus, I'll give you the real crown. Yeah, so that it has been. I think Rick Renner sort of does point that out. So well done, good catch. So, all right, we're going to leave it there. This has
been good. Like it's been a bit longer than normal, but I think this has been worth it, and it's really, it's opened my mind and my understanding.
Yeah.
And with that comes a greater, deeper revelation of, no, it's not this suffering. It's the mistreatment for doing the right thing, for standing on Christ, for righteousness' sake.
Yeah.
But it's like, but those other things, nah.
Yeah. So, do Christians suffer? That's a loaded question because yes, but only this. But that, no, Jesus has already taken that. So that okay. So well done everybody for digging a little bit deeper
through that,
because
remembering a few numbers.
I even though some might have gone over your head a little bit, but I appreciate you've dug in there, and I think you've caught it.
Yeah.
You've caught. Yeah, hang on a second. This is I embrace this not because I go looking for it.
Yeah.
No, you pursue doing right and keeping your conscience clear, and you pursue not compromising. And sometimes you got the wicked people like the synagogue of Satan, and there are people, and there's maybe it's a church can become a church of Satan. Can they? Yes, they can. If the synagogue can, the synagogue can, and church can. The local college, the local media outlet, can the local council. Yeah, they can all become representatives of Satan if they, not just because they're making you upset because they making you put your bins out early or something like that. That doesn't qualify. This is you're making a stand for Christ, and they are using everything they can to come against that. Oh, they're doing Satan's work. But praise God. He's the beginning and the end. He's the first and last. He was dead and he is alive. He's living forever.
Alive.
And we get the crown of life because we're not just going to hold fast. We're going to get the victory. And you say, if you die, you don't get the victory. Oh, yes, I do. And we get the victory. All right. So bless you guys. We'll leave it there and we'll pick this up next week. God bless you.
See you all next week. Church this Sunday. Life groups probably next Wednesday. Check the website. You'll see it.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do, if you want to catch any last minute comments, I'm just going to switch back to that, the screen. I'll turn the sound down and then we'll close off in a minute. But yeah. So, okay. Bless you, everybody.